Hey all, welcome back to second shift. We are out here back on the home lake. It is a pretty toasty afternoon. It's about 6 o'clock. It's been quite the heat wave here in California. It is probably the first couple days this week that it has not been triple digits. If you live in California, you know that we get triple digits a lot, but triple digits this early in the year is kind of spelling worse for us for the rest of the summer. So here's what we got going on today. I'm gonna be taking some time to really learn some different types of lures, bait, some different techniques and stuff. So every once in a while I'm gonna hop in here and I'm gonna choose based on the weather conditions. I'm using some online resources. I'm kind of a wired to fish chart out there based on the time of year and the water temperature. I've got this chart to kind of help you decide what baits you should use. I also did a little bit of research into how to better read a fish finder. I got a little fish finder up on the front right there. Got a little Garmin, just a little 4-inch Garmin, got that clear view on it. Looks like there's some fish out where we're at. We're in about 80-degree water, about 34 feet. We're in this nice little kind of like finger off the main body of the lake. Looks like there's some fish moving around. A little busy Friday afternoon, but right now it is about 5:45. We're going to be running this Strike King right here. This is the more kind of deeper diver that I've got here. So we're going to be running this guy today. We're going to be kind of bouncing it off some of these logs, kind of some of these steeper banks here, kind of getting some, hopefully some of these like some strikes on the edge, and then kind of tossing it into some open water and see what we got there. But we're going to be messing around with this guy today, and we're just going to see what happens. So bait of the day is this Strike King right here. And okay, so you got some fluorocarbon on this guy. First cast of the afternoon, not super great. Forgot to set adjust this for this lure, but it's just above 6 o'clock. Okay. Okay, the goal of the day, catch some fish, always. Second goal, not rat's nest this this bait caster here. I have a tendency to kind of rat's nests bait casters sometimes. So we are gonna be doing our best not to do that. It looks like there's some good activity kind of here, different depths. In reality, I would love to be running probably not a bright of color as I am, but it's kind of what I got for these deeper divers. I don't know how I managed it, but when I was putting on the transducer on the trolling motor here, my little indicator on top somehow did a little 180, and so now my little indicator is not pointing the right direction that it should be. Another issue is my fish finder just turned off. So, because nothing can ever go right around here, it seems that, I think, on my, I should not have, well, I should have remembered to charge my trolling motor battery. Because we have the fish finder hooked into my trolling motor battery up here, because I thought it's a smart thing to do. You know, I always top off the batteries when I get back. Normally, if it's just the trolling motor, I can go out, well, 5 or 6 times without charging it. Seems the past couple times I went out, I think I forgot to charge it. I now realize. So, it means that we don't have consistent fish finder up here. It looks like it's being fine now, but turned off when I was trying to use this and the fish finder. No bite yet. The battery on my trolling motor, definitely did forget to plug it in. It's all maxed out. It's working. Not working like, you know, as you'd expect it to, maxed out. Working at the level that I normally use it at on 2, not 5. Means I can't run the fish finder up front here on its maiden voyage. So this real maiden voyage will be another day when this is charged. I haven't caught anything yet. I'm kind of thinking this is not quite the right bait. It's a really weird way to cast and kind of hooked it pretty decently far. Kind of thinking this is not quite the right bait. Probably not the right color. I chose it just because it's the deep diving I had. I didn't want to go and I don't want to go buy anything new specifically for a video. I kind of want to make my way through my tackle box and kind of figure out each lure, you know, in its own way. However, I do think I did make a mistake in my lure selection for today in terms of color. I think this brighter color, it's kind of clearer water. Probably not the wisest choice, so here's what we're gonna do. I thought about originally running a Ned rig today. That was probably the wiser choice. Where I initially kind of set up at, I thought was gonna be a quieter spot, but it was in fact not a quiet spot at all. There's quite a few boats coming by. Going to go to various places to do whatever. Go wakeboarding and tubing, all that jazz, all that fun stuff that people do during the summertime. So I had a Ned rig hook up on this guy right here. It's kind of a little sideways now that I look at it. That's kind of, I got this little Ned Rig hooked up on a, let's pull it out. Just these Lost Creek. I think this is the house brand for Sportsman's. It's just a little 2 3/4 inch morning dawn color stick. Got the white down. And then in terms of I got a new tackle box as well. Have a little bit more room on the boat. A little bit easier to move. These little Ned Rig jig heads. They are £10. These guys right here. Got a little 10-ounce green pumpkin. Finesse Shrooms brand, Z-Man. If you want to know all the details, tell me what I'm doing wrong. But picked those guys up not too long ago because according to the, well, this was about a month ago, according to the fishing report, Ned rigs were doing pretty good out here, but that was last month, and I picked them up and then ended up not using it. But I think we'll switch the Ned rig. We'll call it a an L. Where the heck did I just hook that sucker to? We'll call it an L on the crankbait there. Ooh, that snagged the wind weird. There we go. Call it an L on the crankbait there. Switch to the Ned rig. We are in kind of slowly drifting back into some shallower water. So not too shallow of water. And I'm just gonna kind of yo-yo it because that's what I've seen people do when I looked up how to fish these. So we're just gonna kind of do a yo-yo thing. So let it drop, let it sink to the bottom. This fight the current here. We have just a touch of a problem. My trolling motor is pretty dead compared to the current. I don't want to go any further down this guy than I have to. So what I think we're going to do is we are going to go up here a little bit. And then we're going to set this guy down. I'm going to pull out my anchor. And we are going to anchor in back here. Ooh, that was almost bad. Okay, here's what we got going on. We're gonna tuck back in this little cove. Trolling motor is pretty dead, unfortunately. However, I do have a little anchor. We're kind of where I wanted to be anyway, kind of in the shade. It's kind of cool over here. There's lots of stuff down. I don't think I'm gonna get a ton of big bass. However, I'm hoping that we can get thumb bass. Did I catch a fish or did I snag something? These both are just as likely. The answer is snag something. That is very waterlogged. That hook went right into that. Ooh. Well, this one made it to the boat. It's currently about 7 o'clock. You've got no fish yet. I'm going to jump in between the Ned rig and the crankbait, trying to make something happen. Unfortunately, it is a Friday night in June. That means the lake is pretty popular. So I don't know how many other places I'm gonna get to try. It'd be nice if we can make something to happen out here. Unfortunately, I think today, whew, I just almost went in the drink. I think today is just gonna be an L of a day. I don't think we're gonna be able to really put anything together today. I think there's just a lot of stuff stacked against us. Not that there was anything, stacked against us that we couldn't avoid. Everything stacked against us was all the consequences of our own actions. However, some days that's just how it is. Well, it is currently 7:40. So it's been about 2 hours of fishing out in this point. Unfortunately, for today's journey, that is just about all she wrote. So, note self in the future, make sure everything is charged. With that, I think we are gonna head on in and call her a day. So, thanks for clocking in.